So this is part of our series of what you can do in home ed for free, or rather what you can do without spending additional money. And today we're talking about science. 5 things that you can do to enrich your science education in your home without spending extra money. Science is one of those things that we see all the amazing resources and all the things that we have in our mind that schools use for science and think like there's no way we can replicate that at home for free. And well, there isn't, but there are lots of ways that we can get scientific understanding and curiosity in our kids. So here are my top 5. Number 1 is play. From little ones up to teenagers, play is really important. Seeing how things balance as you're building a seesaw in the garden or whatever it might be. Checking out pushes and pulls when you're playing with cars, talking about the different structures when you're doing Lego. There are so many different ways with playing. Water play is fantastic. Playing around with baking and cooking and experiments like that. These are all really great ways to get children open up to different scientific concepts and to really explore in a really tangible way that science. Number 2 is asking questions, which for someone who's not scientifically minded like me is a great thing to do because we don't have the answers to all the questions that we're asking, but asking them is really important. When you're boiling potatoes with your kid, oh, why are the bubbles popping? Like, what's happening with all these bubbles coming to the surface? Asking those questions and listening to your child answer and then exploring that together more is really powerful and is basically the basis of science, is asking those questions and making a hypothesis about what we think the answer is. Number 3, and this isn't always easy, but it's the saying yes to the what if. So it leads on a little bit from those questions, is when children ask us, what if I mix this and this together? Now, as long as you know that it's going to be safe, saying yes to those things is going to help build up their own science investigations and their own scientific understanding of things. What if we make a ramp that's even steeper? Will our skateboard go faster? These are sometimes risky things, but as a parent, you obviously know what your kids can handle and what you're comfortable with, and saying yes as much as we can to those what if questions. One, it's going to just allow your children to lead the way, but it really does develop and enrich your science. Number 4 is my absolute favourite. Nature studies are a really amazing way to develop a lot of science understanding and scientific skills. And you don't actually need to spend money. Well, that's not true. Sometimes you might have to spend money to be able to access nature, but you can find a dandelion on the side of the street and explore from that and learn a lot about science from that. So if you don't have nature studies in your home, then maybe think about how you could incorporate it to really add to the science in your home ed. It's a fantastic way, usually free, of getting children to really literally dig deep into the science around them. Number 5 kind of sums up all of those. See the science in everything. We don't have to have a curriculum to follow. We don't have to have a list of investigations we think they should have done by the time they're 8 years old. Science is literally happening all around us. That is what scientists do, is they're discovering and unearthing the kind of treasures of knowledge around us, the whys and the whats and the hows. And we can do that as well ourselves. And it just requires a change in mindset. Not always easy if you're not, like I said, I'm not a scientist. But if I try and see those questions and everything, if I see the opportunities, we obviously know baking is often something that's talked about with science, but what about art? What about climbing a climbing frame in the park? What are different ways that we can see the science happening all around us and use that to teach our children? So there we have it, 5 ways. None of them very difficult, in fact, very common sense ways of enriching our science for free without spending any additional money. You might still want to have a curriculum, and that's totally fine. We don't right now, my kids are still quite young, so we do just use a lot of play and exploring and what ifs, and I'm always amazed at how much that they uncover on their own and how much I'm learning too. So it can be done. But if you have any more ideas or you have any questions, then I can get actual scientists to answer them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.